Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty back with Haunted Heartbeats, and we've got an ad for Shop of Forgotten Memories. Keeping your newly inherited antique shop afloat is the least of your worries when you discover 3 mysterious spirits haunting the premises. Now let's just hope all our characters don't vanish. Nick and Rhett excuse themselves and go home. Kane and I linger, slowly gathering our things and absorbing the events of the day. We are quiet as I lock up the club room. Look, rain! This is the most animation we've ever got in this game. Kane and I make our way outside, only to be greeted by a torrential storm. I sigh and glance at my phone. My folks won't be home for another few hours. I don't want to bother them. No worries, I came prepared. Kane unfurls a large umbrella. Here. He extends the open umbrella toward me. Should I take it? Share the umbrella, accept the umbrella. Well, share it. I shake my head. No, I can't take it. Well, I'm not going to let you walk in the rain while I stay dry. I mean, Kane, you're already standing in the rain, so... I'll tell you what. I take the umbrella and slide it open. Lifting it high, I move beside him so that he and I are both under it. It's big enough for the two of us. I'll take the umbrella if you share it with me. He studies me and then the umbrella. I suppose we can do that. With one small change. He gently takes the umbrella from my hand. I'm the one who carries the umbrella. I smile. Fair enough. He's taller than we are, presumably. But we couldn't even lift an axe. We regather our things and begin to walk together. The heavy rainfall tries to drown out the silence between us, but it's not quite successful. I try to decide whether I should try to talk or if I should stay quiet. I don't have to think long. You remember how Karen loved rainy days? Sure. She dragged me through enough puddles that I'm surprised I didn't grow gills. Heh, that sounds like Karen. I always hated them, though. Why? Rainy days always seem too sad. They force people inside and keep them from doing what they want to do. He gestures at the empty streets around us. I never really understood why she loved them. It's the atmosphere and the sound, Kane. I guess it just shows how different we were. I think for a moment. Would Karen want me to share this? I decide she would. Karen did tell me why once. Kane stops. He looks at me, surprised. She did? Yeah. You see, when you guys were younger and Karen was still sick, you had just started your club sport. You were gone most of the time and you weren't able to play with her as much as before. Karen never complained. She knew how important it was to you and she was glad to see you happy. But she missed you. One day, it was raining really hard. Your practice was canceled, so you stayed home and played with Karen instead. That's why she loved rainy days. Her big brother would be home to play with her. You didn't come home every rainy day, of course. But she always hoped you would, no matter what kind of rainy day it was. Kane is silent for a long time. I begin to worry whether I had offended him. Did I sound like I was criticizing him for neglecting his sister? That's not what I meant to do. I open my mouth to start apologizing when he stops walking again. Shorty, the more time I spend with you, the more surprised I become. There's so much about my sister I don't know. Thank you for that memory. I will treasure it. Of course, Kane. Memories of Karen are some of my most treasured ones. I'm happy to have someone to share them with. There's that really odd, cheerful music again. After some time, we arrive at my home. Kane wishes me a good night. And I am now home alone for the killer to come kill me. I go inside, glad for the end of a long day. I quickly fall into a deep and dreamless sleep. I am increasingly shocked that we survive each night. The next day, I wake up to a text on my phone. Nick wants to meet me and discuss our out findings. Wow, this one had a lot of typos. I text back and agree to meet him soon. I should get going. Take a peek into my closet to get ready. This is our closet? What should I wear? Something dressy and cute, something comfortable and practical. I feel like we could do both, but I'm going to pick comfortable and practical because, killer on the loose. No telling what's going to happen today. I find a soft pair of jeans and a t-shirt. A pair of tennis shoes seem like the most versatile thing to wear. Our closet is so empty. We just have like a futon. 2 futons. I glance at myself in the mirror and nod in approval. I kind of expected that we'd open the closet and like the killer would just be in there, just during the daytime with the bright, cheerful music. I definitely look ready to attack the day ahead. Pleased with my outfit, I head outside. The coffee shop where Nick wants to meet isn't far. Being the first to arrive, I find a corner booth and sit down. I'm impatient, but try to distract myself with the menu. There are so many yummy things to eat. Should I get something to munch on while I wait? Too many choices. Get the cake. A waitress soon appears to take my order. I am a little hungry. Get some coffee, get some food. Get some food! I don't drink coffee. Get some cake. I better not try to get through the day on an empty stomach. I decide to order a breakfast sandwich for myself. I miss breakfast sandwiches. I haven't had those in forever. After a moment's consideration, I decide to get one for Nick as well. Is Nick a shadow woman now? The waitress is quick and soon returns with my order. The sandwich is hot and makes my mouth water. I don't have to wait too long. Odd way to put that. Soon enough, I hear the cafe door open. I mean, we're clearly outside. Am I crazy? This looks like an outdoor eating area. Nick enters, looking tired but triumphant. Shorty, you're already here. Good. Nick, good morning. I just got us a little something to get us started. I gesture to the table. Nick visibly brightens at the prospect of nourishment. Does nobody eat before they leave the house anymore? He sits down and gulps down my offering gratefully. Thank you, Shorty. I needed that. I was up late last night trying to figure it all out. I think I found something. Can I see the rest of the cell phones? See, if this were a different kind of game and not an Otome game, I think he was probably the killer. Just because it's like, why not call the others? But, Sure. Nick and I fish out our collection of phones. We put them together on the table. It occurred to me last night that it might be a code. See, it's all about the cell phones. 442-7777-7777-266. It's a cell phone code. It spells out Hassan. I have a hunch that whoever or whatever this Hassan is might be our next clue. That is the most random thing ever. I don't really get the connection or how all those different numbers spell this out. Interesting. None of us thought about it that way because it doesn't make any sense. Hassan, huh? I don't know anyone by that name. But I think you're on the right track, Nick. We should follow up on this. It might be what ties this all together. We should tell the others about this. I was thinking the same. The sooner we can get this solved, the safer everyone is. Especially you, Shorty. I really should not still be alive. I'm not sure, what the killer is doing. I send out a text for everyone to meet in the club room in an hour. I get agreements all around almost immediately. Our school just never closes. Nick and I make our way towards the school. Also, I just kind of realized apparently this is not a school day. I'm not sure, but I've never seen any of these characters outside of their school uniforms. And I didn't wear my school uniform, so I guess it's not a school day. Nick and I make our way towards the school. It's not a busy morning, but I can feel a tenseness in the air. I feel constantly cold, although the day was getting warmer. Did we get another murder? Although my request for a meeting is still an hour away, we arrive to Kane and Rhett already there. Nick shares his insight on the cell phone code and Hassan. Are you sure this isn't a wild goose chase? How can we be sure this person even exists? There's not even a last name to go off of. How do I convince them? Appeal to their common sense, appeal to their faith. I'll just say common sense, because I don't think they have faith. Look, a hunch is better than nothing at all. If we don't try this, then we're back at square one. We have to try something at least. Shorty is right. We have to start somewhere. Oh, all right. I suppose you're right, Shorty. How will we do this, then? I suggest splitting into teams of 2. We can cover more ground that way, but we also have a partner in case something happens. Because we all remember how useful Rhett and Nick were when Kane got knocked out. Are you expecting something to happen, Nick? He shoots me a warning glance. I shrug. No, but it's best to be prepared in any case. Wouldn't you agree, Rhett? I suppose so. Rhett and I can control the school. There may be something we missed since we only investigated the library, really. What do you think, Rhett? It's not a bad idea. Okay, I'll go. What about you two? Shorty and I will stay here in the club room for the time being and do what we do best. Investigate the paranormal. All right, then. Keep your cell phones on, everyone. I agree, let's stay in touch. Good luck, you two. Let us know if you need anything. Same to you. Let's go, Rhett. Kane and Rhett leave as they begin to discuss where to search for clues first. Come on, Shorty, let's get started here. Nick and I start pulling books from the shelves. We spend the next few hours poring over pages and comparing notes. Nick and I read everything from witchcraft to unsolved mysteries. My eyes ache. I was hoping to find a case that sounds similar to ours, but I don't seem to find any. All these old legends from all over the world, and there's nothing like what we're going through. A light goes off in my head. Maybe that's it? What's it? We're literally searching all over the world. That's way too big a place to start. Maybe we need to look closer. Also, not hundreds or thousands of years ago. Maybe we don't need to go back that far. I examine the bookcases on the far side of the room. Yanking a fistful of books at a time, I leaf through their pages with the briefest glance. I don't know why we needed to scroll over for this. It didn't scroll over to a bookshelf. Aha! After a few minutes' search and several books on the floor, I spot my first real clue. Why are the books on the floor? Put them on the desk. Shorty, what is it? What did you find? Hold on, Nick. I'll explain in a minute. It doesn't take too long until I find what I'm looking for. On this book with no title. A large tome. Nick, could you help me with this? I need to put this on the desk. We are a weak woman, man. Nick, puzzled but willing to help, obliges. With the large book open, I flip through the old, worn pages. Article upon article from years past, all archived. Soon I spot what I'm looking for. There! Nick shakes his head in amazement. In one hand, I have a yearbook with a picture and a name. On the table are a collection of school articles from the time period of that student. You found him, Shorty. You found Hassan. I couldn't have done it without you, Nick. If you hadn't carried this book over to the desk, I would have been done for. Sure you could have. He gives me a wry smile. Might have taken a bit longer, but you would have gotten there eventually. It's fortunate the Occult Club archived old copies of the school newspapers. I think one of the older presidents was very interested in local conspiracy theories and started collecting them. Subsequent generations used them mainly to keep track of the articles submitted by the Occult Club. Nick and I take more time and go through the articles. Hassan was a student of the school. There aren't very many articles mentioning him, are there? Unfortunately not. It doesn't seem like he was very involved in school events, at least. Luckily, there are a few of them, at least. The few articles with him are mostly about the animal caretaking program. I found a few with him winning some rewards. Oh yeah? What did he win? Some certificates in community service. One article mentions him volunteering with the elderly. Looks like he also helped make improvements to the school garden. Yeah, seemed pretty active in the background at least. Our hours-long search yields fruitful results. I sit back, feeling accomplished. I feel like we're finally getting somewhere. I still don't know what the connection is, but it's there somewhere. We've learned a lot today. Nick shakes his head at me. What is it, Nick? Is something wrong? No, not at all. The opposite, in fact. You're a wonder, you know that, Shorty? You're the most enthusiastic club member I've ever met. You're a great asset to the club, and I'm happy you decided to join it. A cloud seems to pass over Nick's face. But being in this club might not have served you well. You're stepping ever closer to danger, and this would have happened regardless. I'm not sure why. I don't know what I did besides go to a library, but... And instead I'm stopping you. I'm lighting the way. I feel guilty for dragging you into all this. I feel responsible. Nick looks so anxious. Tell him you feel better with him around. Tell him not to worry. Say I feel better with him around. I feel better knowing that you're around. I said it in his voice. I feel better knowing that you're around if something happens. Even though you were totally useless in that whole thing with Kane earlier. I say this with all the sincerity I can muster, and I think he can tell I'm serious. He's a bit taken aback. What do you mean? Nick, you're one of the smartest people I know. You're not just smart, you're clever and resourceful. And you're kind. People can count on you, and that's important, unless you know someone's about to be murdered by an axe, in which case you're basically useless. And you're my perfect foil. Nick turns scarlet. You're what? My foil, my match, the Sherlock to my Watson, the peanut butter for my jelly. I know it can be rash sometimes. I rush into things without thinking. Nick, you're a voice of reason that keeps me in check. And you saw how well we work together in investigating. We cover each other's blind spots. We see things from different angles, and because of that, together we see the whole picture. If either of us were alone, we'd only ever see a part of it. You're the first person to say that to me. Most people, even my own parents, think I'm too serious and obsessed with the occult club and the activities. I don't think it's obsession. I think it's passion, and that's admirable. I often wish I could be the same way. Your ability to focus, still be flexible, that's something I wish I could do. Something I wish I could be. I learned so much from you, Nick. Nick is silent. I don't know what to say, except thank you. Thank you, Shorty. No one has ever said anything like that to me before. It was really sweet. He hesitates and then gives me an awkward pat on the shoulder. I laugh. Oh, come on, Nick. There are better ways of saying thank you than that. I reach around and give him a big hug. He stiffens at first, but relaxes. He even hugs me back. Thank you, Shorty, he whispers. You're welcome, Nick. Nick leans back, a bit embarrassed. He smiles. I can't help but share it with him. Well, thanks to you, we've made a lot of progress here. We know who Hassan is. We have to see what part he has to play in all this. I'll stay here and do a little more digging. Now that I have an idea which direction to go, I know where I can dig. What about you? I can't help but think the others could use my help as well. Time to wander the school hallway all by myself and hope that neither you nor I is put in danger, even though we all agreed we would stay in groups to avoid that very thing. I definitely think you have things well in hand here. Mind if I see what the others are up to? In the meantime, I can fill them in on what we have. I think that's a great idea. I'll see you later then? For sure. Be safe out there, Shorty. He squeezes my shoulder with concern, but in no way attempts to stop me from leaving. I clasp his hand and squeeze back. I'll be fine, don't worry. Nick releases me and nods. I know you can take care of yourself. Like we did before, where we couldn't lift an axe. But I'll be here if you need anything. Please come to me if anything is wrong. Thank you, Nick. I'll keep that in mind. I close the door with a cheerful wave as Nick buries his nose in a book. I think Kane is the only one that tried to do something in that fight. Like, didn't he try to tackle the guy and the others are just like, oh, we'll just stand here and watch. My Secret Spy Lovers. Uncover the case of a murdered actress and find romance along the way. That is, if you can survive. I want to know about the murdered actress. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we'll do that one later. Where is that guy? I grumble as I wait for Rhett to text me. The revelation about Hassan has me excited. We can really make some good progress now that we have a name. We should have stayed with Nick and helped him look. I want to share my good news with Rhett as soon as I can. A light bulb goes off in my head and I shoot a quick text to Nick. To my delight, Nick replies back fairly quickly with what I want. I'm in the middle of thanking Nick when I hear footsteps in the hallway. Is it the killer? No, it's Rhett. Shorty, I got your texts. You said you and Prez found something? Yeah, I think we got a name. We already had a name. I explained to Rhett and what Nick and I discovered in the club room. When I finish, he's shaking his head in admiration. Really? That's amazing. That's real progress. His expression goes from impressed to a little sour. And again, Kane has been left alone. Everyone is just splitting up. So why do you need me? Seems like you were doing just fine with Nick. I punch him lightly on the arm. Silly, of course I need you. You'll talk some sense into me when I start to fly away. I'm a kite and you're my string. You need me to look up at the sky once in a while. And I need you to keep my feet on the ground. So, are we going to get to work or what? I may be imagining it, but for a moment I feel like I see Rhett blush. Oh, yeah, sure. What are we doing? I actually don't know. I was hoping you'd have an idea where to look next. Rhett looks pensive as he thinks. We need to find as much about this Hassan as we can. Maybe we should talk to people who knew him. Who would we talk to? Classmates? Teachers? Teachers. It was clear his classmates did not like him. Teachers, maybe? Rhett brightens and nods. That's a good idea. Teachers would probably be a good place to start. Some of the instructors have been here for decades. I'm sure somebody knew him from way back when. Where would we start, though? There are dozens of teachers. A buzz from my phone interrupts us. Oh, we got the weird music. I check the messages and smile. Nick's 5 steps ahead of us. I show Rhett the message. Nick sent you a list of Hassan's class schedules? How do you get his hands on that? How do you even know? I guess being a club president gets you connections us commoners don't have. Right. Well, let's take a look at that list then. We peer at the screen. I recognize a few of these names. Right, but for today, most of those teachers on the list still aren't here right now. Still teaching aren't here right now. How about this one? I point to a name. She always seems to be the last one to leave and one of the first I see in the morning. All right then, let's get going. We soon find the teacher in her classroom preparing next week's lessons. Rhett and I greet her, having had her as a teacher for several history classes. We should try to get more information. Ask about an animal club. Ask about Hassan. I'll ask about the club. Let's be indirect. The diary seemed to be saying something about the author taking care of animals. Miss Roberta, do you remember an animal club? Miss Roberta? That's an interesting last name. Why, yes, I was the advisor of it for a while. What a coincidence. Bingo! Why, are you interested in signing up? I'm afraid it was disbanded some time ago. We were actually wondering what it was like. It may be interesting to try to do again. Oh, I see. Well, it was never really a popular club. There was one student years ago that was very good at it. His name was Hassan. Sweet boy, quiet. We lived on the same street, in fact. He would often accompany me to and from school. He was such a kind, gentle boy. We had an animal club back in the day. He was the most loyal member, very hard-working. I thought he was the only member. I sure hope he's doing well wherever he is now. So he wasn't murdered? Thank you, Miss Roberta. We sure appreciate the help. Of course, my dears. We close the door as we exit the classroom. Well, what do you think? Well, I suppose that means we'll have to investigate the animal club. Is that even still a thing, though? Maybe not, but I think I heard that they used the old animal house as a shed. Maybe there are some things left? I guess the only way to find out is to see for ourselves. Let's go. We make our way behind the school. Oh, here it is. Shed? This is more like a shack. How could anyone have kept animals in here? We check the door. It's locked. Nick, come pick the lock. I think this used to be a rabbit hutch. If it wasn't run down, it could look nice. See up there? That hole? It used to have air conditioning and a ventilator, I think. Looks like it was just kind of abandoned, if you ask me. You're right. Other than a few tools hanging around, it seems pretty untouched. That should make looking around easy, then. The shed is dusty, but relatively organized. I thought it was locked. How did we get in? I check several shelves, but find nothing interesting. My thoughts are interrupted when Rhett opens a drawer. Hey, I think I found something. I peer over his shoulder to see a faded book. What does it say? Rhett flips through the book. It's a caretaking log, and it looks really thorough. An entry was made about every single day about the care for each animal. When Hassan was in charge, the animals were taken care of every day. Improvements were being made constantly. He was actually the one who installed the now missing AC unit and installed all the shelving. And take a look. He turns the book around so I can see. There are dozens of pages with pictures of the animals. Names, breeds, weights, feeding preferences. This took a lot of work. Looks as though things started to change after a few months, though. Pages are ripped out. Graffiti over certain entries. Water damage, and look at these pages toward the end. I look, feeling my face fall. Blood. They couldn't even Photoshop the blood splatter from underground onto this book. Rhett nods. The entries stop abruptly. I think the guy was being bullied. We kind of know. Are they not making the connections? This is the one who wrote the diary? I take the book and leaf through the entries again. I think you're right. But why? Who knows, but for now let's write down what we have learned and head out. We spend a few minutes taking pictures on our phones and writing down notes. I sigh as I put the book back in the drawer. What are you thinking about? Oh, just that Hassan seemed like he had it rough. Hassan might not have had friends from the looks of things. No one to support him, even without the bullying. Having no one is tough enough. I'm glad you had decided to be my friend. Way back when I first moved here. If you hadn't taken the initiative and reached out, well, I probably wouldn't be who I am. What an odd thing for Rhett to say. How should I reply? Tease him about it or tell him it wasn't a big deal? Neither of these feel like mean things. I think I'll say tease because I think we're supposed to be playful. I grin and toss my hair in mock superiority. Well, I couldn't just leave you alone, right? I must have been so good-natured and patient, even as an elementary schooler. You were so quiet, I literally had to drag you on adventures and force you to play. It was forever before you started to actually talk to me. And now look at you, you don't stop talking. All my fault, I guess. I brace myself, expecting Rhett to shoot back with his own sharp quips. But they don't come. He nods thoughtfully. I would agree. He reaches up and tentatively tucks a stray hair around my ear. His fingers linger there, barely touching my skin. My heart pounds in my chest and my stomach begins to flutter. I owe a lot of who I am now to you, Shorty. I'm so grateful to have you as my friend. You're the best person I know. I hope I never lose you. He leans over, whispering. I promise I won't ever let you be as lonely as Hassan. I feel myself get furiously red. Well, Shorty, what do you think of my offer? Rhett lets his fingers fall to his side. I am safe from having to answer him by the buzz of a text. Fumbling for my phone, I catch him trying to smother a smile. I check the text. Oh, I think Kane needs to talk to me. It's time for Kane's romance moment, Rhett, sorry. Oh, is that right? Are you sure you can't stay around for a bit longer? I'm sure. Oh, all right. Tell him I said hi. I guess I'll poke around here for a while longer. Alone. I gather my things and rush out the door, clutching my bag. As I scurry away, it dawns on me that Rhett might be teasing me as payback for my snark. But when I think about how his hand lingered on my cheek, maybe he isn't. I see Kane waiting as I approach the library. He hands me a cold drink when I arrive. Thank you, I didn't realize how thirsty I was. I gulp down the beverage gratefully. Of course. I was thinking I could use a second pair of eyes, since Rhett ditched me. I want to have a second look at that old diary we found. Is this where we make the obvious connection? Are you up for it? Sure, I think we could definitely use a second look. Especially now we have a pretty good idea who it belongs to. Also, we do realize, but we're shocked that Hassan was being bullied. We make our way into the silent library. So I guess this is just a part of the library, like this dark, creepy area no one goes to. We find the glass bookshelf easily enough, but no sign of the mysterious door. The shelf opens easily enough this time. Kane and I find a nearby bench to sit and read. We realize we read at the same pace, so it's easy to keep up. After a half hour of reading, I feel Kane's hand gently rest on top of mine. Hey, you look a little tense. You okay? I realize I was clenching my fist. I loosen it and Kane's hand returns to the book. Yeah, I'm okay. It's just upsetting. The entries at the very beginning are so hopeful, but they become more and more hopeless. Hassan describes a lot of bullying that he goes through. Rhett and I definitely found some evidence that supports that. It must have been horrible. I agree. And it looks like Hassan thought no one would believe him. Yeah, I've said it before, but bullying is a real big problem in this society because people just make light of it. He begins to get depressed. It's absolutely ridiculous that this was allowed to go on. This bullying took place over months. Poor Hassan. How did no one notice this? Doesn't matter if they noticed it. They either didn't want to get involved or they thought it was funny. Because it's funny when it's happening to other people, apparently. It makes me furious. I can sort of imagine what Hassan was going through. Not the same thing, of course, but a bit. Hassan was going through a very dark time. I can understand that. Kane looks sad. What can I say to make him feel better? Ask Kane why he feels that way or tell him how sorry I am about Karen. I'll ask why he feels that way. Why is that, Kane? What are you feeling? I felt lost after losing Karen. I know a little about what darkness feels like, what loneliness feels like. If that's what he was going through, I can see why he got depressed. Shorty, you've been one of the few bright points of my life since Karen passed. Although I'm not quite out of it yet, you're pulling me out of a hole I thought I'd never get out of. It's like Karen sent you to me, Karen's gift after she's gone. I'll do what I need to keep you safe. I know you shouldn't be my only reason to keep going. Karen and you wouldn't like that. And I don't want to put that burden on you. That's not your responsibility. But I want you to know. I want you to know how much I appreciate you. You help make the world a little less dark. I know that darkness won't last forever, but for the time being, is it okay to lean on you just for a bit? You're a comfort I wouldn't have otherwise. I don't know what to say. I don't think I'm anything all that special, but I'll do my best. You're a great person, Kane. I want to be as good a friend to you as Karen was to me. Thanks, Shorty. You don't know how much that means to me right now. I think I'm pretty selfish sometimes. I know I'm not the only one who lost Karen. You lost someone precious as well. Karen is an important person to me. She's an important person to a lot of people. I won't let the memory of her die. She'll always be with me. You're right. Thank you, Shorty. Kane and I spent some time talking about Karen. It's comforting sharing our memories about her. After a while, we take a moment to look out the window. It's going to be dark soon. I think we should get you home. That's probably a good idea. I'd walk you home, but my parents want me back early. I understand. Don't worry, I can get back safe. Are we going to run into the killer tonight? Is this going to be the moment? Kane and I say our goodbyes. I start walking home. There's cheery music. I sort through all the pictures and notes I have in my phone. I'm so absorbed in my thoughts that I don't know where I'm going. Oh! I look up to find the headmaster. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't see you. Oh, it's quite all right. You aren't hurt, are you? Oh, yes, thank you, I'm fine. Good. I think I've seen you on the school grounds more often than these past few days. I'm glad you're concentrating on school, but don't push yourself too hard. How are you doing? I know things have been difficult. I'm doing better, thank you. I have some friends who are supporting me through it. That's good, that's important. By the way, would you know anything about an old student? Well, I've had quite a few students go through in my day. Are you thinking about one in particular? A student named Hassan? To my surprise, I see him visibly tense up. When he answers, it's in a level, smooth tone. I recognize the name. I believe he graduated some years ago. Can't tell you much more than that, I'm afraid. What are you hiding, Headmaster? Did he die? Did you kill him? Did you hide the body? Do you know where he is now? No. Oh, he knows. He knows. It might not be my place to ask, but would you know if Hassan has passed on, perhaps? The headmaster goes pale. Oh, he knows. He knows where the body's buried. It's in the basement. I hear a familiar sound behind me. The grinding sound of metal on concrete. Is the killer back? Is he going to kill the headmaster? Something tells me the headmaster might deserve it. Like an axe. He's just doing this in broad daylight. I panic, whirling around in time to see a large man with a gigantic axe. Before I can think, I feel a sharp shove. I lunge forward, trying to catch my balance. Did the headmaster just sacrifice us? I fail, landing on my hands and knees in the dirt. You wuss! The headmaster is running as fast as his legs can carry him. I kind of hope the axe guys just, forget this and goes after him. I'm paralyzed by fear as I see the heavy axe swing towards me. I flinch and feel a cold breeze. Then, nothing. Slowly, my eyes open. The man has disappeared. The headmaster is gone. Mr. Headmaster, we are going to have words tomorrow. What in the world is happening? Buzz, buzz. The sound of my phone interrupts my hazy, still panicked thoughts. I fumble for my phone, my fingers still shaking from fright. Is it the killer? It's an urgent message from Nick. He wants us all to meet up immediately. We just parted ways. I wonder what it could be. Shaking my head, I wobble to my feet and start to go back to the school. What's going on? Guys, you never believe what the headmaster just did. I would be telling everybody the headmaster did this. I don't know if anyone would believe me. I'm sad we have to stop here because I want to see the meeting. But anyway, are you getting interested? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.